Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Kinstretch with the Fitness Alchemists. We are wrapped up nice and warm, but we will make sure that you can see all the necessary bits as we work through some thoracic spinal mobility training today for a nice bite-sized class that you might be able to do in the middle of your workday and just kind of sneak it in. In terms of
snack it in.
Snack it in.
We've been joking and calling short classes snacks.
Yes. So in terms of kind of space that you'll need, you won't need any props other than just a little bit of wall space. About shoulder width should be clear from floor to shoulder height so that you can really put your body up against it, and we'll do some facing work as well. So reorient as you need and we will get right into it.
Doesn't have to be a fancy wall, it can just be a regular wall.
Regular wall works just fine. So let's go ahead and start by moving the whole spine. So we do our standing version of cat-cow. So go ahead and set up for that by hinging your hips. And this is a position we're going to use quite a bit today. There you go.
Just making sure I'm in the right spot.
Yep, and turn just a little bit so that, yes, perfect. Okay, and then from here, once you've hinged your hips back and found a spot for your balance where you feel really supported by your feet, not falling back on your heels, find that pressure through your hands to allow some contraction to start happening on the front side of your body. And just play with that. Go ahead and turn it up to a nice strong 50% effort. And then turn it down to about 20% effort. Just so we can start to grab control there. And then ramp it up again smoothly to 50 or maybe a little bit more than 50% effort. And then hold that effort. And we're going to do your first rep of cat-cow starting with your tailbone. Curl that tailbone under. Use the intensity that you're finding to look for a stretch at the very lowest segment of your spine. And then moving up segment by segment. And make sure you realize that the parts that you don't feel will try to move extra fast. So you want to try to move even slower through those places that feel a little blind until your chin makes it to your chest. Double check that your hands are still heavy. And then keep your chin pulled in as you start to move your tail in the other direction. One thing I love about this setup is that as that tailbone moves up, you might start feeling a little extra stretch in your hamstring area. And that lets you know that you have really tilted your pelvis fully before moving up your spine and extending. Good.
Some exciting sensations in here today, Will.
Good. Okay, another rep. Make sure your hands are heavy. And try to keep reaching your chest out in front of you as long as you can. Let me see if we can't feel some extra contraction in the upper back as you start over at your tailbone with flexion.
Woo!
Good stuff. Good.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're really finding some segmentation below that upper back area, and then only letting that area move into flexion when you get there. Good. Take the breath that you need, the pause that you need. Make sure your hands are still heavy on your thighs, and then final movement into extension, starting at that tailbone. This time committing to keeping your upper back rounded as long as you can, to give your nervous system time to really focus on those lumbar segments, those lower rib segments. Yeah, good. It's almost like the more you can extend and flex your spine, the more space you're finding between each joint, and that's really the key here. Good. Okay, and relax. Nice. So we're going to focus specifically, if you might, thank you. We're going to focus specifically on that part of your spine that's really your rib cage, that thoracic spine. And so just a note that if all you had time for was to get in cat-cow and move through your upper back, you could skip the lower back and the neck and just work on that upper back. And that would be a really effective way to actually train and improve your thoracic spine function. But we're going to throw some other ideas as well out. So go ahead, come to the wall, and you want to step away from the wall about a foot or two so that your, you can lean back against there. Yeah, you want to step a foot or two away from the wall so that you're leaning against the wall.
Okay.
You don't feel like you're standing.
I know what's happening, it's fine.
No, this is good. You're kind of modeling the choose your own adventure aspect. Okay, so once you're leaning against the wall, get the lower back flat and just feel that connection point. Good. If you have to adjust your feet at all. And then find a way to brace through your upper body. Might be a big hug, might be some Wakanda arms. Good. It might be your superhero kind of setup here where you're pushing into both arms.
I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah, that one, okay? But just play until you are feeling like, oh yeah, okay, I feel strong in my upper body. That's really gonna help. And then we're gonna start peeling the spine away from the wall from the top down. So start by pulling your chin into your neck, and then pulling that chin down to your chest. And then only once you're through the neck segment, start to peel your shoulders away from the wall, keeping that upper body brace.
You hear that?
Yeah, nice. Good. And just pause when you feel like you get about to the bottom of your rib cage. Okay? Now once you're there, hold it, big breath in, try to stretch that upper back area. And then as you breathe out, try to feel your abs crunch a little more. Keep that crunch and start placing your spine back up on the wall from the bottom of your rib cage, smoothly through the shoulder blade area. And then pause when you get to your shoulder height. So no need to let the head come all the way back, but actually keep your chin tucked down. Yeah, so just trying to keep your chin pulled down to your chest. That way we can keep focusing on upper back. Go ahead, start your peel again. And as you come back through this movement, a great way to progress would be to feel like you have control over smaller chunks of your spine. So this area is just notorious for being so stiff. It can feel like you're working hard and getting very little change in movement. So just be focused on that 1% change in how small you can make the chunks that you're moving. Okay, once you get back up to your shoulders, one more rep. Really trying to peel the upper segment as far as you can before asking the next segment down to peel away. And I often like to tell people, imagine you're making a question mark with that upper back. So you're not leaning forward at all, you're really rounding your upper back and rib cage. And then camp out at the bottom of this final rep. Big breath into the upper back, try to stretch that area. And then crunch up more, round up more into that question mark shape. Another breath, big breath into your ribs. Crunch up more, pushing into that stretch. Final breath, then we rest. Big breath into stretch. Strong exhale, blow every ounce of air out. Keep blowing out. Once you run out of air, keep that effort going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your effort and just come upright. No need to segment. Yeah, okay? So again, the goal there, if you might, okay, the goal there is just to work on building as much space as we can through that upper back. If we have space, then we have the potential for other kinds of movement, extension or lateral motion. If we don't have space, we don't have that potential.
And now I'm warm.
Yeah, that too. Good. Okay, so then we're gonna continue working on that upper back here, just stepping away from the wall. And this is gonna help set us up for some drilling in a little bit, where we're just trying to segment now the rotational component. So for this, if it feels good for you, I want you to try to bring your hands right on the base of your rib cage. If that doesn't work for your arms or shoulders, you could also just try your hands on the front. We're gonna do that a little later. Or you could even grab a belt or a strap and wrap it around that bottom rib and just kind of pull it tight. It's just to give you a little reference point, so that the motion that we're gonna try to get after is only above that area, okay? All right, so from here, feel your hands on your ribs or feel that reference point. Brace your abs, so karate chop abs. Feel your feet strong on the ground. And then start trying to turn your collarbones to the right without letting your belly button turn to the right. Just play with how much you can turn that way. Once you max it out, hold it. And then keep your belly button square and rotate collarbones to the left. Yeah, good. I invite you to move your hands around as we go. Find different places as reference. Once you max out to the left, go ahead and come back. Good. Okay, now we're going to keep going back and forth. I'm just going to throw out some cues. Yeah, maybe you're already feeling some effect. But some cues that can just help you feel a little more segmental motion. So this time, as you brace, keep your belly button square and start turning. Try to turn your sternum bone, the bottom of your sternum bone, as much as you can to the right. Good. And then once that's done, try to ask for more from your collarbones. It might be very small. Good. And then turn forward. Good. Take a breath. Make sure you're braced. Again, sternum bone turns to the left. Belly button stays square. And then see if the collarbones can offer a little bit more. Nice. Okay, and then square it up. Nice. Last one, we're going to incorporate the neck as well for this final one. So try to turn your sternum to the right. Good. When that's done, turn the collarbone to the right. And then when that's done, keep turning your head and be like that owl trying to look all the way behind you. Find your end range and just take a couple breaths to try to help your nervous system accept this position as a usable position. So you're just holding, breathing, constantly trying to rotate those collarbones and chin further. 5 more seconds here. Good. And then smoothly face forward. Check that your abs are braced, and let's do the same to the left. Good. Okay, once you're there, sternum turns first. Belly button stays square. Collarbones move a little further, and the neck rings out a little bit more as you turn to look over and behind your left shoulder. Hold this, 10 seconds of breathing, teaching your nervous system that rotation is actually safe and cool. All right, and let that go. Smoothly turn forward. Okay, so that active effort through rotation is really going to help us set up for building a little more rotation here in a second. All right, so the final thing we want to do to just prep is that a lot of the work we're doing today is going to, again, be in that hinge shape. And that shape can be a little bit weird if you're not used to it. So again, the wall offers us a really nice way to work it. This time you're going to stand on your own feet about maybe 2 feet away from the wall to start. This one is definitely going to have to adjust based on kind of your body, your tightness through your hips. So start here. And all we're going to use the wall for is as a target to reach your butt back to. Ooh, so just play with that a few times. Don't worry about how you're doing it or...
Hamstrings are sore from yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, so you might find some tightness in your hamstrings. That's a good sign. That means you're really maxing out your hip tissue. A few other things that you might notice is like if you can't hit the wall with your butt, step back just a little bit, an inch or so. If you feel like you hit the wall before you get a hamstring stretch, step away from the wall a little bit. If you feel like your lower back is really cranky as you hinge back, I want to encourage you to just turn on your brace a little more consciously before you hinge, and then really focus on making the motion happen at your hip, so below your pelvis, and not at your lower back. Okay? Just keep going.
And let your knees bend if you're not doing that.
This is why we have 2 coaches
For the
leading these
price of
sessions. Very good.
It's the best deal in town.
Okay, just getting a feel for this. All right. The final thing I want you to tune into is your feet. If you're noticing your toes falling up or lifting up, can't fall up. If you notice those toes coming up, then you just want to find a way to balance over your midfoot the whole motion. Okay? Now next time you come up to standing, just hold that position. Hopefully you found your distance away from the wall. You felt that ab brace. We're just going to do 3 reps a bit more actively, okay? So go slowly, start sending your hips back, and focus on trying to actively close your hip joint on the front, like you're a jackknife and you're trying to pull that knife down, okay? And then pause when you're feeling your hamstring stretch. See if you can't add tension to your hamstrings. Turn those hamstrings on more, and use them to slowly start bringing your pelvis forward and bring your spine upright. Yes?
Can I just add, when you're trying to add energy to the hamstrings, pushing into the floor but going nowhere really helps me with that one. So if I think I'm going to push my feet into the floor as though I'm going to stand up, but I'm just not actually going to move, that really lights it up for me.
Yep, that's a great one. It's tough to find that tension, so we just want to try to send that signal. Actively clasp your hips closed, thinking thigh to belly and belly to thigh without letting your spine round. And then in that hinge, push those feet heavier into the floor, find those hamstrings and use your hamstrings to come back up.
Slow motion kettlebell swing.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Final one. See how intensely you can pull yourself into a stretch. Really ask for a little bit more.
Oof.
And then pause there, switch to thinking heavy feet, active hamstrings, and slowly feel those hamstrings contracting and shortening in order to bring you back upright. Awesome. Okay? This is a pretty...
sides feel really different. So if you're feeling that, that's also real.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to mention is that that's really a full body movement. So if you're feeling like you just need a movement break during your day, you could just find a wall and do some active hip hinging, and that will get some blood flowing and probably feel really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's put these pieces together a little bit to work on improving thoracic rotation and thoracic mobility. So step away from the wall. You're going to find a similar position as you had at the beginning for cat-cow with hands on thigh. And this time that hinge should feel a little bit more obvious for you. Okay, so go ahead and find that setup. And I'm just going to have you again turn. Perfect. Okay, now once you're there, you're going to replace your left hand with your right hand. So you just step it over and then make it heavy again. So you could even double up your hands for now and find a way to really feel stable through that side. And notice that because you're hinged, your tailbone and pelvis hasn't turned to the left, but just your upper back, your shirt logo, your sternum is turning, okay? Try to use your bracing arm to emphasize that or get a little bit more turn.
Woo.
Okay? Thinking a nice long spine, but as much rotation as you can. And then get solid and strong here because we're going to camp out here just for 30 seconds of deep breathing. All right? Here we go. As you breathe in, try to breathe specifically into the areas that feel tight. And then as you breathe out, try to feel your whole midsection contract and help you twist further. So inhale is a stretch focus. Exhale is a very active, pushing the air out focus to help you twist further. Good. 15 seconds. Very nice. Feeling those feet stay balanced. Keep thinking high tail feathers behind you and big twist from your sternum. Push that air out for your final exhale. Really blow that air out. And then gently come back to square, both hands on thighs. Good, and then come upright. Okay.
Woo!
So,
free drugs.
Yeah, tell me how it feels side to side, Hannah. I would imagine it feels a little uneven right now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I feel like this side of my torso is like longer and also just like more alive, I guess. It's sort of like I have a lot more sensation.
A little more feedback.
Coming from this side, whereas this side is sort of like, do I have ribs on this? Like I might, but yeah. I don't know.
Twisting and rotating is weird like that. So you just want to like kind of feel what's changed, and then let's turn around and get the other side. I mean, you don't need to turn around, but if you would turn around, that would help. Okay? So find that hinge. Make sure this doesn't feel too stressful for your lower back, but you're actually loading into your hamstrings. And then your left hand replaces your right to find that little twist. Now when you twist, your tailbone might try to curl under. So make sure that, don't let that happen.
Not for me,
make sure
but
that
yes.
Tail feathers stay high and you keep feeling your hamstrings. And you're just getting that twist from your upper back.
Should we feel as even as possible between the feet also?
Yeah, try to find that balanced, both feet kind of working for you.
I'm just saying that because I'm feeling the temptation to shift mostly into the foot that I'm turning towards. So try to keep both feet heavy.
Yep. Good. Okay, and then once you've camped out there, really pressing that stiff left arm into your right thigh, go ahead and start your deep breathing. Inhale, you're focusing on stretching the specific parts that feel tight. Exhale, you're thinking of actively contracting to push all the air out of your abdomen. Good. Each inhale, can you expand more? Each exhale, can you twist more and get that spine longer as you twist to the ceiling? Good. Keep pushing that exhale out till every ounce of air is gone from your lungs. Final 5 seconds. Final breath cycle. Actively twisting. Once you get all that air out of your body, square up your hands again, take a recovery breath, and then come upright.
Woo!
Okay, so a little lightheaded as well, okay? Anytime we're holding an active position, you need to realize that a bunch of your blood is staying in the muscle. It's filling up that muscle and working for you, but then when you relax, all that blood comes back up to your head. So it doesn't mean anything's wrong necessarily, it just is something to take note of. Take a seat if you need to, and it's maybe
Hug your wall.
Yeah, it's a good sign. It means you're actually working those muscles and putting some blood into those muscles. Okay.
What's next?
So we're going to now get it back into that position and add a little shoulder focus here. Okay. So as you hinge back, we're going to go back to the first side. Right hand replaces the left. Find that rotation. And you could really, if you wanted to really intensify this work, you could find that maximum rotation again and try to hold on to that. If the rotation felt a little sketchy for you, you could back off the rotation a little bit, okay? And then once you're ready,
This arm?
yep, brace through your right arm heavy into that left thigh, and then your left arm is free to reach out in front of you, externally rotate fully before sweeping up by your cheek. When you hit your sticky spot, internally rotate to reach behind, and then all the way back to your back pocket. Now this time, as you reach your arm behind you, try to keep your sternum twisted to the ceiling. Good, finding that big chest stretch. Giving that chest stretch to you, cutting all the way across. Once you're done, go ahead and come upright. Let that go. Good, turn around.
That was exciting.
Gonna do the other side. And I'm just breaking these up. We'll come back for more cars, but I'm breaking them up so that you have a chance to re-hinge and unload your lower back if that's feeling intense. Okay, so find your hinge. This time left hand replaces the right. Find that stiff brace to help you twist. Tail feathers stay high, and then reach your right arm across your body. Elbow is straight as you reach up. Hit your sticky spot. Big reach. Good, and all the way up to the back pocket.
Tricep cramp.
Yeah, nice. Use all of your strength through your back of your arm, back of armpit, to try to open your chest up more. Good. And then come upright. Little cramp city. Love it. Okay? One more on each side. That's it. So back into your hinge with the right arm on the left thigh. Good. Find that strong brace through your right arm. And then as you start this car, I just want to try to increase the amount of stretch that you can find through your chest, through the front of your body. Finding that stretch through your own active effort.
Oh, tricep cramp on this side.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Keep those tail feathers up. Don't let your hips move side to side at all. Lower body is in a strong, muscly brace. Good work. Nice. And very good. Turn it.
But what will we do for our workout, Will?
Yeah, exactly. So just because it's snack sized doesn't mean that we're skimping on the intensity factor.
It's very tired.
Okay.
Feels good. Okay.
Final rep here. Find your hinge. And, you know, this intensity is definitely an option, but also lower intensity is cool too, if that's what feels right for you today. The key is just to play with this new base position and explore what kind of rotation you can find through your shoulder joint. Good. Good stuff. Quick check-in when your wrist gets to your hip, that your sternum staying proud and twisting to the ceiling. Try to keep that emphasis as you work your way back through your shoulder carve, across your cheek, and in front of your body. Oh, excellent. All right, shake it out.
All right.
Okay, so now we're just going to redirect to focus a little bit on the upper back to finish up. So for this one, we're going to, we've already focused on flexion. We've focused on some rotation. Now we're going to focus on maybe the most challenging, which is extension. Okay? So for this, very helpful to turn and face the wall. And go ahead and walk as close to the wall as feels comfortable for you. Okay? So you're staring right at your wall or your wallpaper. Okay? And then here's where you're going to place your hands just south of your sternum bone. So kind of stack those hands up. You should feel maybe each rib cage wing under your hands. And I want you to try to think of anchoring that section. So again, the motion that I'm asking for should only happen above your hands if possible, okay? So take a moment to root your feet through the floor, brace through your midsection, feel like very strong there, maybe even pushing your own hands into your stomach. And then start the motion by thinking of lifting your sternum up towards the wall, but maybe up the wall, looking for contraction through this part of your back, through that upper back area, and then smoothly relax that and come back to square ahead. Okay? So you can involve the head a little bit.
I feel like I'm barely moving.
That's okay. You can involve the head a little bit, and that might be like, that might help you kind of emphasize this motion. But the goal is to get 1% more extension through this upper back than you currently have. And that's it. All right? So brace. Start again, lifting your sternum like you're shining a flashlight from there up the wall, keeping your rib cage wings pulled down. And then smoothly bring that sternum flashlight to face straight ahead. Good. Just 2 more reps. Brace, extra strong. See if you can't stretch your rib cage on the front this time. So the contraction effort on the back is working to open the front of your rib cage. And then you're strongly controlling the motion back toward the wall. Okay, last one. Before we do this final one, try to tuck your chin down. Good. So that now we're only going to move from the ribs. We're not going to let the head jump in on this. Brace. Start to extend. Oh yeah. Very nice. Good. Find your end range. Find that complete stop in the contraction. And then smoothly bring it forward. Good. Very good. Yeah.
And if you feel like you have never worked so hard for so little, I am with you.
Yeah, for sure. It's just such a spot that our body needs, but so often doesn't have. And then it means that you're asking for that extension from your lower back. So again, 1% more in your upper back can seem like not that much, but makes a huge impact anytime you are reaching overhead or even looking up, that now your brain knows you can use your upper back instead. Okay? All right, so let's just finish this up with our thoracic car. This is a spinal car, but just for those segments in your upper back. Okay? So step away from the wall a little bit. And then brace your upper body however you'd like. So hug yourself, cross those arms, find your brace, and you can change as we go. And then imagine that somehow we've just filled the room up with cement right to the bottom of your rib cage. So nothing below the rib cage can move. It's locked in with cement. And then start rounding your upper back, just like we were doing before, away from the wall. Peeling your spine forward into thoracic flexion. But stopping when you start to feel that you're moving through your lower back. Okay? Now keep your belly button square. Start to rotate to the left or the right, doesn't matter, we're going to go both ways. Twisting as much as you can, and let that twist gradually start to become a lateral flexion, with your left side coming towards your left hip, or if you're going the other way, the other side coming towards your hip. And then let this smoothly start to become that extension effort we were just doing facing the wall, contracting your upper back. When you're fully contracted, start twisting. Keeping your belly button square ahead, let that twist smoothly start to become a lateral flexion in the second direction. And then let that lateral flexion gradually move back forward into flexion. Good. Okay, come upright for a breath. We're just going to do one in the other direction. Okay.
Nope, that's too weird.
Prepare yourself, however your upper body brace needs to feel. And then start peeling your spine forward. Good. Trying to recall all those sensations we just checked in on. Finding as much question mark shape you can in your upper back. And then start twisting back in the direction you came from. Smoothly letting that twist become a lateral flex to the side. Feel that lateral flex is active on the short side and stretching on the long side. As you smoothly move into extension, lengthening the whole front of your rib cage, and then twisting your shoulders to the other direction, and smoothly letting that drop into lateral flexion. before smoothly rounding forward into thoracic flexion. Good. Come upright. All right, there you go. Let us know any questions, and feel free to cherry pick any or a couple of these exercises that felt really traction for you, and just pepper them in throughout your day. It can make a huge difference on all the stuff that attaches to your upper back. So it's not just about your spinal mobility, but all the attached points too.
For real.
All right, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.